SHOT Show 2020 was all in a lather about 5.7 by 28 millimeter. That's that cartridge that we've had for a good long while, but really it hasn't been able to generate the continuous interest because of a couple of factors. First off, the firearms themselves tend to be quite expensive. You have the FN P90 or the PS90, and then you have the FN 5.7, and both of those, yeah, they're kind of pricey, they're kind of proprietary, they're their own thing, and they're not very easy to get into. It's not the sort of thing that you go to your local gun store and you can find it there on the shelves. The ammo is another really big issue because for the longest time we had two loads. We had a full metal jacket load from FN, and then we had a blue tip sort of varmint style cartridge with a Hornady bullet that was also from FN. And then in recent years, we have at least had one other less expensive and more universally available option, and that's the Federal American Eagle. Those guys at least had a good plinking ammo, but really there was a big gap there. We've had these ammunition types that aren't necessarily that great for terminal performance. So if you wanted to be able to use one in a defensive handgun or rifle, you're not exactly sure what you're going to get. An FMJ might tumble, it might not. It kind of depends maybe on distance, on twist rate, all kinds of other things. And then those Hornady blue tips, I'm going to put links to videos here. They do have really good performance, but then in ballistics gel, it seems to be kind of spotty. You're never quite sure if they're going to open up all the way, what the wound channel is going to look like. There have been different people that have produced these videos and gotten different results. And that, I think, leads to this next announcement at SHOT that for me was the one that really stood out. Because finally, okay, yes, we have the Ruger 57 that was announced, and everybody's, really happy that we finally have a more affordable, accurate, and just more ergonomic. It seems like it's going to be a really great pistol option for the cartridge. And then on the rifle side, we have CMMG releasing a couple of different ways to get at the cartridge. They have their full rifles, they have their uppers, and now they have that special kit where you can either build using parts or you can slap a full upper onto a normal AR and you can start shooting the cartridge using magazines that'll fit into the AR magwell, which is just really cool. And it's actually what we're going to be doing here on the channel. So make sure that you hit the notification bell down below to see when these videos come out. We're going to be building an upper. Actually, I think we're just going to be slapping one on top. We're going to take one of their full built uppers, put it on there, and show just how easy it is to take an existing pistol lower and put an upper on there and then turn it to 5.7. But the big gap that we're still looking at is ammunition, because we don't have a dedicated high-performance defensive ammunition. And at SHOT Show, we finally got the announcement that we've been waiting for. The ammunition is not available yet, and there's just about no data on it. However, Speer is going to release a 46 grain gold dot load for this cartridge, which is going to really fix a lot of things. Yes, it's probably going to be a bit on the expensive side, especially compared to like the plinking ammo that you get from Federal American Eagle. So great. If you want to go to the range and fire the American Eagle, that's going to be much less expensive and you'll be able to kind of get used to your firearm. But then if you want to be able to load up your defensive sidearm, or maybe you have a truck gun, maybe you have one of the AR style pistols, whatever you want to build this out as, you finally are going to have something that will have consistent terminal performance. At least that's what I expect. So far, there have been no details, like I mentioned, there's nothing about velocity, about overall length. We just have some photos and an indication that it is going to be a 46 grain bullet. We have been testing gold dot bullets for the past couple months now in 223. And we've tested a couple of different weights as well. So we've done 55 grain, 62 grain, and 75 grain. And as you can see in the inset footage that I put right here, the results are wonderful. This is exactly what you're looking for in a defensive or a hunting cartridge. This will work great for both. First off, the bullets themselves tend to be very precise, and depending on how you've developed your hand load, as it is in my case, then you can get very precise results accuracy-wise. So these right here, this is a 6.5 millimeter that I loaded up for 6.5 Creedmoor and was putting through CMMG's excellent Endeavor 300. That's their big heavy rifle. It's more of a prone rifle. And we were getting 0.4 MOA with these guys. And we're gonna see what the terminal performance was like here in a little bit. That terminal performance, as you saw in some of the footage here, these bullets, when they strike, yes, they're going to be accurate, yes, they're going to be able to get on target, and then when they hit, they very quickly open up into that star shape, just a perfect star shape, and they start cutting a wide swath through the gel. I think that's exactly what we can expect from the 5.7 load, that gold dot load. I think that it's going to, first off, it's going to fly at that high speed, and with that kind of semi-exposed lead tip, it's going to initiate expansion very quickly, and we're going to get a nice wide channel. What I'm really curious about is to see at what distances how it performs, because that's one of the things that we saw with the 55 grain 223 load. Within, if we shot at 100 yards, which, by the way, that's my thing now. A lot of ballistics gel tests are done at about 10 yards or, practically touching the gel, and you're not going to get realistic results because, as I showed with the 55s, at 100 yards, you would get a pretty different result than if you were back at 200. At 200 yards, the bullet has plenty of time to kind of slow down. It has a lower BC. It just weighs less overall. And when it hits, it did expand wonderfully, but it didn't open up as wide as some of the others. So there's a good reason to go with maybe some of the heavier bullets as you're going to be stepping back in distance. I'm really curious to see how the spear load is going to work at practical distances. We're going to do some of the closer ones, like 7 yards, where most of our action is actually going to take place, and then stepping back a little bit, I think at maximum to 50 yards to see how this performs, and I'm really expecting good things. To ensure that you don't miss these videos when they come out, hit the subscription button down there and the full notification bell down below. It's going to be a filled-in bell, and that will actually put a link to the video up in your browser area up at the top when this comes out, and that's probably your best shot to be able to see when these are released. YouTube doesn't like distributing this content, so yeah, that's probably your best shot. Thank you to patrons of the Destructive Arts that have made these videos possible. We have Stan and Mary and the Sportsman's Guide at the 338 Lapua Magnum level. We have Joseph Davis, and we have Mr. No Name, and we have Peter at the 300 Win Mag level. And if anybody else wants to chip in $1 or $2 a month to keep these videos coming, I'll put a link to Patreon. I'll see you guys around in the next video.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Even if you didn't like this particular content, go ahead and subscribe. There's probably something coming that's more up your alley. Check out this playlist right here. This is going to have videos in a similar vein to what you just watched. These 2 videos we cherry-picked for you. And finally, The Social Regressive is on Patreon. So you can become a patron of the Destructive Arts and earn some goodies while helping us to provide high-quality videos just by kicking us a few bucks a month. Thanks a bunch for your patronage.